I'm Andrew Ryan, here with Ethan Koehn, and today we're going to be presenting our MLB playoff predictions. To start the playoffs on the AL side, Detroit and Cleveland played, and Boston and the Yankees played. Detroit came up victorious in the three-game matchup, beating Cleveland 2-1 in the series. Boston and the Yankees played, and the Yankees came up victorious. And now the Yankees and Blue Jays are playing in a five-game series, and Seattle and Detroit are playing in a five-game series.
Detroit and Seattle have split the series 1-1 right now, with both games being in Seattle. With that being said, I have Detroit winning this series due to their better pitching, and I think that they can get some more hits and make some more plays. Seattle had those weeks off with the wild card game, and that's always a struggle for teams.
I think Seattle's going to win it due to the experience of the team and them ultimately just having a really good season this year. Now, between the Blue Jays and the Yankees, the Blue Jays are up 2-0 in the series, with both games being in Canada. I think the Blue Jays are going to take the series after two huge wins in the series because they're just ultimately looking better on the pitching side, and the Yankees lack a lot of depth.
Yeah, and I think the Blue Jays they just asserted dominance from the beginning with that 13-7 victory. I don't think the Yankees have a pitching staff, and they just can't get enough runs to keep the game close. So I agree with you. I think the Blue Jays probably in 3.
Now, between the Dodgers and Phillies, I think this is really just a coin flip. I think both teams are really good. The Dodgers being up 1-0 also helps them a lot in the series ultimately, but I think it's because it's the Dodgers. They're ultimately going to win it.
I think stealing that first game on the road was super important. You had Shohei go out, and he pitched well. He's played great ball. They have a lot of big-time guys that know how to hit. Like, they get clutch hits. They run the bases well. So I think they'll be able to manufacture a few more runs and sneak out of this series. It just depends on if the Phillies' bats get hot or not.
Now, on the NL side, the Reds and the Dodgers had the first-round matchup. The Reds really stood no chance on this matchup because the Dodgers are just overpowered, way more money, way better players overall. The Dodgers won 2-0. The Padres and the Cubs was actually a really good series. Everyone thought the Padres were going to slip away with a victory in the series, but the Cubs ultimately came up on top. Now it's the Cubs and the Brewers. The Brewers are up 1-0. And the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Phillies are down 0-1. With the Brewers being up 1-0, I think they're ultimately going to take the series as well. I just don't think the Cubs have the pitching depth as the Brewers have. The Brewers have just been consistent all year with pitching, hitting, and overall just playing in the field. So I think the Brewers will take the series.
Well, I do think the Brewers will win the series. Maybe it could go 4-5 just because the Cubs might have some momentum coming in off that series against the Padres. And you have to remember at one point they had the best record in the league, so they're not a bad team. They hit a cold streak. If they can get hot, they can play and contend with anybody. So I wouldn't count them out, but I would take the Brewers in this series. To wrap it up, we're going to leave you with our World Series prediction. For me, I think Detroit ends up getting by the Mariners and ends up getting to the World Series, and I do think they'll play the Dodgers. I think these are two teams that can hit the ball. They have a little bit of depth and experience, and I think this would make for a fun matchup. We want to see Shohei in the World Series anyways.
I think Detroit's ultimately going to lose to Seattle, and then I think the Blue Jays are going to beat the Yankees. I think on the other side, I think the Brewers are going to beat the Cubs, and I think the Dodgers are going to beat the Phillies. I think those are going to be two really good matchups, but I think the Blue Jays take it from Seattle, and I think LA takes it from the Brewers. And then I think the Blue Jays and the Dodgers are going to be a really good World Series, and I think the Blue Jays take it all.